Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hammer the Over podcast. This is episode 3. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get right into things starting off the bat. French, just explain how your locks have been the past couple of days. I know you started off hot and you got a little cool there, but just walk me through your picks so far that you had last week.
Well, my picks last week were awful. Not good. Just, let's see here. I don't know which all these won and lost. The one that sticks out to me the most was the Heat +9 against the Bucks, which we all know was a brutal defeat. They were up by 23, I believe, at one point.
Yeah,
Bucks came
that was
back and
brutal.
lost by like 14. At one point, I was 6-2 with my locks last week. I'm currently 6-5. Two of them are pending today. I really did not do much betting Saturday and Sunday. I was cold. I was really cold. I was down a lot last week, and it didn't feel good, so I stopped betting.
Yeah, so hopefully you can get back on track here. I'm sure you'll be fine. I mean, I was the same way. I started off cold. I think I went 4-9 to start. It was really bad, and then I kind of just took my time, went more in depth, and I started off going 2-0, and I had a money line parlay. It was a Sixers money line, Spurs money line, Pelicans money line plus 140. That was a couple of days ago when the Sixers played the who'd they play? I think it was Saturday night they played. No, it was Friday night. They played against the Magic and they won that game, especially since the Magic were missing some starters. I was very confident with that one. And then the Spurs played the Jazz, and that was a huge win for them, and it was a must-win for them as well. And then I had the Pelicans just because they were playing the Wizards, and the Wizards are awful. But now the Pelicans are now eliminated, actually, so they have no reason really to play anymore. And then after that, I had Juventus minus 190. Shout out to Jake Sugar for that pick. My first ever soccer pick. 1-0 in soccer picks, not anything you can really say, as French is shaking his head over there. And then baseball, I kind of came back for a little too. I've been slowly just being positive. I went then, I believe 5-0. I think, let's see here. Went 2-0 and then went 3-0. My other three picks were Nuggets minus 1.5 when they played against the Jazz. They barely covered, won that game by 2 in a crazy double overtime game with Donovan Mitchell going off.
Game.
That was a really good game.
That was one of the most disappointing games for me. I had the Nuggets to win. I probably shouldn't really be saying this based on the name of our podcast, but I really needed wins badly this week. So in desperation, I bet the under on that game, and it looked
no
great.
bueno.
It looked great.
It did.
There's like a minute left. Nuggets are up 5. They're 30 points under the over-under line. And guess what? Donovan Mitchell decides to go off, sends it to overtime. They blow the under out of the water in both overtime periods. Just my luck. Every time I think
classic.
I'm gonna win.
Of course, that happened to you. That was crazy too. I think.
And for a little while, last week I got really carried betting overs.
For sure.
Over, and I lost. I lost a few of those, so I slowed down. And of course, for one game, I decided to bet under. I go over. It just shows you should not bet the under, and I learned my lesson the hard way.
And Donovan Mitchell had 35 points with something crazy clutch shots. That is probably the best game I've seen Donovan Mitchell play personally, just watching the Jazz. Yeah, he is very streaky. I think that actually the Jazz lost today, didn't they?
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Let's look at that box score. To the Mavericks, who did not have Doncic or Porzingis, they lost by 8.
Before we go any further, I know we don't. I want to shout this out quick. I know we don't address many lines in this podcast because they're not out at the time we film this. So I want to shout out. We started a Twitter at Hammer the Over. The H and the O in that are capitalized with an underscore at the end. I know I'm kind of cutting in here, but we have been posting our picks there daily and keeping a track of what we're our record on those picks, and we're pretty active with it.
Yeah, and if you look at it now, French and I are both 1 game up, so if you are taking our picks anyway, you would be technically up money too.
Yeah. But like I said, we're pretty active on this. I'd say we're probably doing a few tweets a day. Also,
I've been doing it every day.
I for the most part have, except for this weekend.
Yeah.
But we usually been tweeting our picks out in the morning. So for those of you that listen to this and are actually gamblers, I would encourage you to um, look that up. And like I said, one last time, it is at Hammer the Over with an underscore at the end. The H and the O are capitalized. So.
Yeah, and I'll also put it in the description like I did last week too, so you guys can always check that out. And then going back to my locks of the day, I hit the Indians minus 130 with that huge game. They won 6-1. I forget who they played. That was also Saturday night. And then I won.
Indians game last night. That was crazy.
Yeah, Indians game was crazy. And I also had the Indians against the White Sox. That's who it was. The series versus the White Sox. And
they had a clutch tying run.
Oh yeah.
Top of the 8th.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No one scored in the 9th. Went to extras. They scored 2 straight up, like right off the bat in the 10th. They looked awesome, and then the White Sox really gave them a run for their money.
Yeah. Shout out to CJ too. He's been giving me baseball picks. CJ Saylor gives me baseball picks, so most of my locks are his picks. Some of them are my locks too. For example, the Dodgers, I love taking them. And then for UFC, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like Benelli Darish or something. Darish. I loved him looking, and then
that was
an interesting fight night. Yeah, that fight was really good.
That was the only fight I didn't bet straight.
Yeah, and then we got a huge fight night this weekend, so we'll probably be giving some UFC picks with a huge fight tonight or this weekend. DC versus what's his name again?
Man, I didn't really make any UFC picks. Maybe we'll have to come back with
that. Like I love betting UFC. I've been pretty good with it. Oh, Stipe versus DC. That's going to be a huge fight. And then, my guy, O'Malley. O'Malley's the fight before that, 12-0. He's got a challenge against Marlon Vera, though. I've heard that guy's pretty good. I've seen him fight earlier this year, so that should be a good fight, too. All right, so moving on. Basically, yeah, like I was saying, French and I are pretty much breaking even or above even. Like, he's 6-5. I'm 12-11. I have 5 picks pending right now. I have Nuggets plus 5.5 tonight. Phillies minus 150, which is already a lot because they're up 13. I think Bryce Harper hit it.
Yeah, I'm currently. I have 2 pending today. The one's already a loss. That loss I had was I had a Suns Jazz money line parlay. Odds were like minus 123, I believe. Though I wasn't looking for anything crazy. I thought it was a guarantee. Suns won very easily, and then the Jazz decided that they were gonna just like go out there and look just pathetic. How do you lose to a Doncic and Porzingis?
That was awful. Yeah, that was bad.
Like, what's his face? Boban had like 22.
Actually, I don't even think Donovan Mitchell played.
I don't think he did, but still, like that, they should not lose that game.
Dude, the Jazz box score, the starters only combined for like 30 points. It was like all the bench. Like Clarkson had 18, Ingles only had 7, and then Conley and Gobert had 9 apiece. So that's like just above 40.
What did Boban have? He had 20. 22.
Boban had 20. Curry had 22. Hardaway had 27. That's crazy, bro. The Jazz aren't winning when their 5 starters are scoring below 40 points. I mean, their leading scorer was Jordan Clarkson. Second leading scorer was R. Tucker. I don't even know who that is. Was that RJ? No, Ray John Tucker out of Little Rock College. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy, but shout out to him.
Did Gobert play?
Gobert did play. He only had 9 points. Only played 16 minutes.
All right. That makes a little more sense why they lost, but still.
Yeah. And then right now you have the Raptors. They're up big on the Bucks right now. They're up 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 13 here midway through the third. I thought that was a pretty safe pick.
Especially since Giannis is out.
They ruled Giannis out.
He's got some oral surgery or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Don't really know a whole lot on that surgery.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Them to rest him the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty much like fading the Bucks is probably safe on for now on. But like moving on, do you have anything else you want to talk about pick wise? I'm gonna move on.
From this past week?
Yeah. I mean, I'll touch on some of the we'll talk about playoff push too. But I got some other things I want to talk about.
No, I don't really have any picks from last week I want to highlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I got some bullet points here I want to talk about. This is just all NBA news, and then French, you can go ahead and touch on some things here. My first thing is the 76ers. Since I am a Sixers fan, I want to touch on. I'm probably going to talk to them about 5 minutes here. But first off, Simmons is out. Big news for all Sixers fans. He may return. It's a knee injury. Had a surgery. They rolled him out for the year.
Yeah.
I did not see that. That's crazy. So that's big news. Some people do say that Simmons and Embiid can't play together. I mean, you kind of saw it there.
Did you see what Kendrick Perkins was saying today?
I did not watch that.
He actually.
I haven't really followed sports today since I moved in.
He supports Embiid and Simmons, but says they need to
make a move.
They need to gut their coaching.
Yeah, I don't really like Brett Brown. I don't really like what he's doing right now. And Embiid hurt his ankle yesterday in the Blazers game.
Yeah,
And that was an interesting game
did you
too.
see how he hurt it? He
I
just like
I wasn't watching.
he
Yeah.
stepped into the back of the rim and just like rolled it a little
Yeah, I don't think it's anything
awkwardly.
serious. Maybe they're just taking
Yeah,
proper precautions
I
because
know
it's
he's out
Embiid.
against the Suns. He's kind of a little baby.
Yeah.
Embiid,
I watched the
I would
second half
body
of
you,
that game.
Embiid. I hope
Yeah.
you hear this, but you're so soft.
Come on, man.
But nah, I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, and then that was an interesting game. Like, good for the Sixers to hang with the Trailblazers. They were winning for a while there, but unfortunately, they caught Damian Lillard at the wrong time because he was all fired up with the whole feud going on with Patrick Beverley and Paul George, which I'm going to talk about right now.
Man,
So, what do
two
you
more
think about
players I
that?
hate.
What do you think about that
Two
whole
more players
conflict?
I hate. Patrick Beverly just runs in his mouth. Patrick Beverly is good at defense, but like literally, I think he averaged like 7.5 points a game. Like he's not that good. Like he's good at getting in people's mind, which is like nice from a bench player, but like
Yeah.
he's a starter. He's not that good. And Paul George, like I think what Dame said to Paul George was so spot on. Like Paul George pulled a KD. If you can't beat him, join him. Like
Exactly.
you just keep moving around. Like why don't you stick with the team? First it was the Pacers, then he went to the Thunder. That was obviously unsuccessful. And now he's trying to form this super team, I guess, in LA, but Paul George is not enough to carry a team alone. Like he's not the star of the show. Like he's not the ringleader in Los Angeles. Like it's Kawhi. So Paul George, like don't get it twisted. You're not head honcho here. You're just like the sidekick. You're the lame guy. But yeah, I don't like his comments. Mainly because like Dame was right, dude. Like Dame put him on blast last year. Just totally sent him home. Sent the Thunder home. One of the crazy shots. That was one of the best shots ever. So like I get chills still watching that. And even it was Dame's second year in the league, and he sent Pat Bev home. Like I I think he handled that awesome. I love
Yeah.
Damian Lillard firing back.
Yeah. I will touch on. I actually
Go
have a segment talking about NBA playoff push, which we'll get to too as well.
going back to that Simmons injury though. I think that hurts. Obviously, I think that hurts the Sixers' chances big time. I know we had both sort of like them to win the East. Um, Currently, I'm pretty high on the Celtics.
That's who my
Celtics
pick is. The
Celtics play
Celtics.
really good basketball.
Yeah.
They need to play a little more consistently. Like they have a lot of players who contribute.
Jalen Brown's been playing really good.
Jalen Brown, Tatum's awesome. Marcus Smart plays really well. Kemba's really well. Gordon Hayward's averaging 18 a game in the bubble. Thies, I believe that's how you say his name.
Yeah, their
Um,
only weakness is they got to get past the Bucks. Like every time they play the Bucks, they just can't beat them.
they struggle. My favorite players though is their backup center, that like Max Williams. That guy's awesome when he's on the floor. But I like them a lot. They play good team basketball. I also like the Raptors, but I view the Raptors in a similar light to as similar to the Bucks as I think I talked about in one of the first episode of the podcast. But you know they're the same. They're centered around their small forward Giannis and Siakam. I I don't think they can get it done. I think Boston can, and Boston did it last year when they sent the Bucks home last year. I think they could do it again. But yeah, I think that I think I'm not saying the Sixers won't win a playoff series, but I don't like them to compete with the Bucks.
Yeah, I also agree with that too. Like right now, it's looking the Sixers are playing the Celtics first round, and I don't see
That's
us
tough. I didn't know
playing the
that.
Celtic, or I don't see us beating the Celtics at all. Like the East is so tough right now. Like those
It
top six
is.
teams are just crazy. But like moving on, some more NBA news. Just we talked about Giannis has oral surgery, but they clinched the 1 seed because I remember last week we weren't sure if they didn't clinch, and they just clinched the other day. Nuggets clinched their division since the Suns beat the Thunder today. So I don't know if the Nuggets will be willing to win as much now against the Lakers, but they still need to get that 4 spot or 3 spot they're at now.
I mean, how many games these teams have left? They got like 2 to
2, 3
3-ish
games. Yeah, Suns
games.
are now actually 6-0. So looking
I'd
at the
say
standings,
I think the Nuggets need to win one more game,
yeah, I
I
agree
believe, to
because
clinch the 3 seed. And
they could possibly get the second seed. They're one game behind the Clippers.
yeah, but they also play the Lakers tonight,
True.
which is a tough game, especially with them missing Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, and I forget. I'm blanking
I'm
on the
looking
other
at it right
guy.
now. Who else they're missing?
But
Troy Daniels, Will Barton, Jeremy Grant. That's a big miss out there. Jeremy Grant's a beast.
he is.
He's
I
been
didn't know
playing
he
really
was out
good.
too. Huh?
He's been playing really good. Well, it says
He
he's day
has
to
been.
day. Actually, so it's just Murray, Harris, and Barton are out, and then Troy Daniels and Grant are day to day.
But yeah, they definitely
Looks like LeBron's playing
they
too.
have something to lose by not trying. So I think they need to win one more game to for sure clinch the 3. I believe, unless the Rockets have 3 games to left to
It's
play.
like they're like 2 games behind, so yeah, the Nuggets should be fine.
Yeah,
And then my last piece of news: the Pelicans and Kings are now eliminated from the playoffs. So what do you see as for them in the future?
like
Just like next
playing
year.
wise,
Just next year.
I mean, I think both the Pelicans and the Kings are very young, talented teams. I definitely think the Pelicans have a brighter future. I'm not saying the Kings don't. Um,
Yeah, the Kings have an interesting squad,
the Kings do have an interesting squad, some nice young pieces.
like Buddy Hield and what's his
He
name?
really struggled in the bubble.
What's the other guy's name?
De'Aaron
De'Aaron
Fox.
Fox. Yeah, he's been good.
Giles is pretty good, or not Giles. Well, I mean, I like Harry Giles, but Marvin Bagley. But like the Pelicans are a team that could be better next year. Obviously, they had some
Yeah.
injury issues this year. Zion missed a lot of time. It really irked me when they decided to rest Zion the
Mhm.
other night.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to get him hurt, but if they were trying to compete for a playoff spot, it obviously was not the right move.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they both have bright futures, especially the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And I expect them to be better than what they were this year. It's kind of funny. I saw a tweet today. You know how the Pistons invited J. Cole to come
Yeah.
out? It was like, man, J. Cole could put these numbers up in the bubble, and it listed Lonzo Ball's stats in the bubble. Man, I don't think he had a game over 10 points.
Oh
And it was
my
just
gosh.
2 of 10, 3 of 12.
Just
This man
awful.
couldn't shoot to save his
Yeah.
life. But I wonder.
Big ball brand.
I wouldn't necessarily fade the Pelicans or the Kings. I mean, obviously they're out of the playoff race, but that doesn't mean you have to totally roll over and give up.
Yeah, the Kings have been weird too. Like they'll pop off and
They're
destroy
hot,
one game.
they get really hot and they get really cold.
Like that one game, that Bogdanovich guy, he had like 40 points. I think it was Friday. Friday when they played. No, it wasn't Friday. When was this game? Oh shoot, I forget who they played. It wasn't against the Rockets. It was the game before. Here it is. It was when they played the Pelicans. The score was 140 to 125. Bogdanovich had 35 points. He was 6 for 9 from the 3. Like that's crazy. Fox had 30 points, and they went on to lose by the Nets. And they only put up 106. And then they just played against the Rockets and got killed on Sunday. And I don't even know what the box score was like for that. Harden had 32. Bogdanovich only 13.
Austin Rivers at 41.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Westbrook didn't even play that
What do
game
you think
either.
about this 8 seed going forward?
Yeah, so that's actually what I was going to talk about next. I was talking about NBA playoff push from the West because the Wizards are now eliminated, so no one cares about the
Yeah,
East.
so the East Conference playoffs. I mean, the teams are at least locked in. The seeds aren't. I mean, I expect Brooklyn to hang on to the 7 and Orlando the 8. There's a 2-game gap between those two, but then between the Sixers at 6 and the Nets at 7, you're looking at an 8-game difference. So really, only I'd say the 3 through the 6 in the East are up for grab.
Mhm.
Mainly just the 4 through the 6, because yeah, I guess Boston has a 4-game lead on the Heat.
Yeah, it's basically just between whether or not the Sixers can pass the Pacers or the Heat, and if they can't, then it's gonna be Pacers versus Heat, Sixers versus Celtics.
Yeah, look into the West,
West is
here.
crazy.
We have a guaranteed play-in, and that's going to be between the 8 seed and the team who finishes next best to the 8 seed, correct? So the 9
Yeah, that's
seed.
how it works. So right now it's the Blazers.
The Grizzlies and the Blazers. Grizzlies only have a half game on the Blazers. Blazers are playing really good basketball. They have a healthy team right now. I think one of my new favorite players in the league is Nurkic. He's
He's a
just a beast.
monster.
He does it all.
He's so good.
He's so much fun to watch. He's very similar to what's his face, Jokic.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe not as good as a passer, but like just the same play style.
yeah. He's a little more not necessarily a point forward. He doesn't quite handle it, but he can pass. He can rebound. He plays good defense. He's a versatile scorer, so he's fun to watch. They're healthy though. They're playing good basketball. I don't know. Have the Grizzlies? The Grizzlies have. I know the Grizzlies have at least one bubble win.
They've been struggling.
I mean, yeah. So
their only win was it was an impressive win over the Thunder.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they lost in that tough game to the Blazers in overtime. That probably killed them, just for like the head-to-head advantage.
So they're what, 1-5?
Dude, I don't know. It's not looking good for the Grizzlies. They played the Celtics and then the Bucks. Unless the Bucks rest Giannis.
I expected the Grizzlies to make more of a push at the beginning, but losing Jaren Jackson was big for them. Because I think Jaren Jackson was actually their leading scorer. I know a lot of the hype was around Ja, and deservedly so, but I think Jaren Jackson was averaging closer to 19, where Ja is more in the 17 range.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jaren Jackson wasn't even playing in some of those games.
Well, he got hurt.
Yeah.
For the season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's a tough loss for them. So the Blazers are half game back. The Suns are a full game back, which I personally did not expect at all. Suns are 6-0 in the bubble, and they were doing it without Oubre, which has impressed me. Booker looks awesome.
He's been so impressive. He had 35 points today against the Thunder in a big win.
Playing great basketball, great team basketball.
And that shot he had against the Clippers was money.
It was just filthy.
Unbelievable.
And then looking past the Suns, you have the Spurs at 2 games back. The Spurs have been playing really good basketball as well, but I don't think they're going to be able to jump the Blazers and the Suns.
I love watching the Spurs. I love what they do, but
they play good team basketball.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta love what Popovich is doing. Like he's just been turning this team around. And well, I don't know. My favorite player in the bubble, just watching him play, is Derek White. Like he's such a great team player that he's leading the bubble right now with charges. He has like 10 charges, I think.
Didn't he have 5 in one game?
Yes, that was crazy. The dude's defense is crazy, but I've never seen like an NBA player put their body on the line as much as this guy does. He's just taking charges left and right. Now, he got injured last game, so I don't know if he's going to play this next game. And also, shout out to Lonnie Walker from Reading. He's been playing really good too. DeMar DeRozan has always been a stud athlete. He's hitting those jumpers and getting to the paint as well. And then Rudy Gay's getting some good points off the bench there too. He's been averaging like a little over 15, I think. But all around, the Spurs have just been playing really good team basketball, just like the Suns, and that's why they've been successful. But I do think the Blazers are going to get the 8th seed. I think Damian Lillard has something to play for now, especially with that whole talk. And that's going to be a crazy first game series between the Lakers and the Blazers.
You think the Blazers?
Yeah, I like the Blazers to take the 8th seed.
Who do you think is the playing game? You think it's Grizzlies?
I think it's going to be.
I don't know. I'm looking at
the schedule. It might be this
Blazers record or the remaining games.
Yeah.
And they play the Mavericks tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and then they play the Nets on Thursday.
Yeah, so those should both be wins, especially if the Mavericks are resting Doncic.
But if Doncic and Porzingis aren't rested,
gonna be a close game.
It'll be a tougher game. Whereas the Suns,
they're also playing Sixers and Mavericks.
The Suns get the Sixers, which
they should win.
Embiid is ruled out and Ben Simmons is out.
Yeah, they
so
should
that
win
be
that.
A win. I don't know who the Grizzlies have. They have the Celtics, which is tough, and they have
the Bucks.
The Bucks, which if
Giannis doesn't play, it's still gonna be a close game.
It's still gonna be a tough game.
So I don't know. It's gonna be close.
You think it's Blazers Suns for play-in?
I don't know, because the Suns are only. I do see the Grizzlies. They probably could lose those 2 games. I think the Grizzlies have the toughest schedule out of those 2 teams. So that's why the Portland will probably play the Suns. But I won't be surprised if it's Portland and Memphis.
Okay.
But the Suns have been crazy hot, so I won't. It's going to be awesome to see them finish 8-0. Like, shout out to them for being the worst team in the West in the bubble and going all the way back.
Yeah. I agree. I think that play-in is going to be really fun. You have two hot teams, Blazers and the Suns. Well, and the Grizzlies, I don't want to count them out, but I think it'll be the Blazers and the Suns in that play-in game. Blazers will. The 8 seed has to beat the 9 seed once. The 9 seed has to beat the 8 seed twice, which
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't like. I think the Suns could very easily win a game. They would have to win game one, but for them to win two in a row against the Blazers, I think is going to be tough. I wouldn't put it past them because they're playing really good basketball, but so are the Blazers. But like you said, that's a tough first round matchup for the Lakers. Obviously, like as a Lakers fan, I'd love to see them play a banged up Grizzlies team.
Oh yeah.
I think they would beat the Blazers, but I think it's gonna
It could
be.
it could go to 6, 7 games.
I would say 6. I think it's gonna be more of a workout than what the Lakers wanted.
So that's basically everything I wanted to update you guys on. I think we can head on to picks I like and you like for the week.
Cool.
Looking at tomorrow's games, the one that I do like is the Suns versus Sixers, just because the Sixers are very damaged right now, and the Suns are hot. The other game I like is the Nets versus the Magic. Magic are a little hurt out too, and the Nets have been playing really good basketball too. If you haven't been looking at the past couple of games,
They
they've
have
now won 2 straight against the Kings and the Clippers.
they have a lot of surprising talent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the third game I like for tomorrow is Blazers versus the Mavs, and I think that's a must-win for the Blazers as well, so that's what will probably come out on top on that one. What about you? Do you like any games for tomorrow?
Yeah, I definitely like you. I like this Suns Sixers game. I think the Suns will win that. Um, I'm less confident on the Nets Magic. I think the Nets will win. I think it could be closer than what you are expecting. Should Russell Westbrook play, I think the Rockets will smoke the Spurs. Otherwise, it should be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Blazers, Mavericks. See, some of these games are kind of tough.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who's resting.
Exactly. And most of the time it's all game time decision too. So like sometimes I'll put my tweets out there for the locks, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this person isn't playing, and then that's why I've only been doing probably like one NBA pick, not even. You guys can see on the Twitter too. I've been doing mainly baseball picks. I've been kind of holding off on my locks for NBA just because it's been so uncertain of how the games are going to unfold. It's going to be more predictable once the playoffs roll around, but just because there's all these day-to-day things happening, I just don't really know. No one really knows, so that's why you probably won't be seeing much, probably at least one, probably not more than one NBA locks from me.
Today I liked what I did today. I put 2 out, but I put them out at different times. I put the Bucks Raptors out right after news broke that Giannis would not be playing. So I'm kind of playing it a little closer, playing it more by year. Other games, going back to tomorrow's schedule, I like the Celtics a lot against the Grizzlies. I'm not sure if I said that, I might have. Pelicans and Kings play, ironically, the two teams that just got eliminated. That could be a really ugly game. I probably won't touch it.
Yeah.
And then the final game tomorrow is the Bucks and the Wizards. Giannis isn't going to play. Bucks should still win.
Let's go Wizards, baby. Take them plus. It's probably like plus 15, honestly.
I mean, I would take them plus 15.
I'm
but
curious what that line's going to be. If that's generous like that is, I might honestly take that.
I'm honestly so impressed that the line did not shift for the Bucks Raptors after.
Yeah, what the heck? Like, look at the score.
I know the Raptors are up. What? 9?
That I should have made that. We should have. Did you make that a lock? I think you did. That's such a lock. That's probably been the biggest lock.
They're
Like,
up 13.
why would the Bucks be favored against the Raptors, who are second in the East and have been playing great basketball, and Giannis isn't playing? Like, that probably would have been a close game anyway if Giannis was playing.
Yeah.
Like, I would have taken +5 anyway if Giannis was playing too, because Raptors and Bucks, top 2 teams in the East, gonna be a close game. So you always take the points if it's 5. And I saw somewhere like the lucky number is always 5. Like, that's always, if you have 2 power teams like that playing against each other, you know it's gonna be a 2-3 point game.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's tough on those games to like. I mean, I love the Raptors to cover 5.5 because Giannis wasn't out. If Giannis was playing, it would have been a tougher play for me because like
Yeah.
that leaves the window for them to cover. You're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 points. So we're like,
Mhm.
there's only five potential differences.
Yeah.
Um, it's because you can never know. Maybe the Bucks make all their free throws and it stretches to 6. But yeah. Then looking on to Wednesday's game. Are you looking at Wednesday's game?
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
We got Raptor. Well, who's first?
Raptors, Sixers. Oh,
No,
actually, it's Pacers, Rockets at 4. Sorry, I have my Sixers, Raptors favored in this app, so they show up first. But yeah, Pacers. There's only 4 games this day. Pacers, Rockets. That's an interesting game.
it is.
That should be going. I mean, I want to see how TJ. I did take a note. I want to see how TJ Warren and the Pacers play against the Heat. That's a big game because both teams are tied right now for the 4-5, so it can go either way. I don't really think the 4 and 5 matters though if you get the 4 versus the 5. Like I think it just matters because the losing team is going to favor the Sixers for the Sixers to come out and win. Hopefully, Sixers can win, but they're probably not going to win against the Suns, and then they play the very next day against the Raptors. So that's just a huge turnaround. You're going from a very hot team to then a very good team without Simmons or Embiid. So it's very likely that if they do somehow beat the Suns, they're probably going to lose to the Raptors the next day.
Simmons hasn't been ruled out for Wednesday. In all likelihood, I imagine he will.
You mean Embiid?
Yeah, that's my bad. Embiid. I imagine they'll probably just keep him out until the playoffs start,
Which is smart.
His injury is worse than that. I think the Raptors will win that one pretty easily in a lower scoring game. I don't know what that over-under is.
Did someone say hammer the under?
I'm not saying that, but like the Raptors just like day in and day out. Like, I mean, they're one of the better defensive teams in the league, and they have just statistically have like lower scoring games. I don't know. Their game against the Grizzlies on Sunday was 108-99. So,
Yeah.
yeah. The other 2 games that night are the Heat and the Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thunder are a little streaky, but I think the Heat are a better team.
I like the Heat as well. I also want to. I made notes too. Like I think the Heat Pacers game is gonna let us decide of what we make for the Thunder versus Heat game, Pacers Rockets. But the Heat have been good. And now Jimmy Butler is playing tonight. Let's actually look at the box score real quick because Heat are up 7 already. Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy Butler's got 4 points already, 4 rebounds. Looks like those points all came from the free throw. 5 make that 5 rebounds already in the first 8 minutes. That's crazy.
The final game at 9 o'clock on Wednesday is the Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm hoping some of these Nuggets guards start playing again because, I mean, I think this could be an awesome game. This currently is the 2 seed in the West versus the 3 seed in the West. Could be a very likely second round combination in the playoffs. It's tough to say who will win this game. I like the Clippers, especially because I believe Lou Williams is now playing.
Mm-hmm.
Did Montrezl Harrell play in their last?
I don't think he did. They lost to the Nets, I think, in their last game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Harrell
Another
played.
Surprising.
That's why I like the Nets to win tomorrow too.
I guess that's right. Kawhi even had 39. And
I don't think Paul George, how is he suspended or what's going on with that again?
No, he just sucks.
He didn't even play.
Did you not play?
Yeah, Shaman only had 1 point. Holy. Yeah, it was literally all Kawhi and Williams, looks like. And then my guy, Joe Harris with 25, Karis LeVert with 27. I mean, that's the reason why the Nets are playing good now, because Joe Harris is back. He's just a bucket. And that's why I like him to beat the Magic tomorrow, because the Magic are an injured team.
Yeah. But that pretty much wraps up Tuesdays and Wednesdays games. I like the Clippers at night. Should the Nuggets guards play, I would entertain the idea of the Nuggets. I like it in a closer game though. I think any line over like 6 is a little aggressive.
Mhm. All right, I think that pretty much wraps everything up for this episode. Like we said before, we talked about the Twitter earlier, and we'll put it in the bio, and we're going to be putting our picks in there, updating our pick like win versus loss ratio in the bio so you can see how we are doing.
Yeah, the record.
Yeah, just the record. So right now, French is sitting at 6-5. I'm at 12-11. We're both positive, so that's That looks good. But yeah, thank you for watching. And as always, if you guys have any recommendations, let us know in the comments. And we'll keep giving you guys our locks of the day. And hopefully you guys take them and make some money. French, you want to say anything here before we sign off?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you to those that are listening.
All right. Thank you for watching. And happy betting. And Hammer the Over signing off.
Peace.